This dude gave away $1 billion for a political favor. What could $1 billion in your neighborhood do? And these guys give away billions of dollars like it's dollar bills at the strip club. Now, could we be free? Yeah, we could, but a whole lot would have to change. And if we were actually free, our cities would look different. Our schools would look different. Our happiness would be more. Our prosperity would be better. You wouldn't have to think about money. Like, until people understand, like, dude, it's your responsibility as a citizen of the United States to speak the truth and stand on the values that you believe on an individual level. It is also your responsibility as an individual to exercise freedom. Freedom does not exist unless you exercise it. If you don't live a free life in your day-to-day life, freedom ceases to exist. It is not something that is granted to you. It is something that we create as individuals. It is autonomous. It is in how we live, how we eat, how we train, what information that we put in our brain. This is why I tell you, personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion, because if you are personally excellent, then you are exercising freedom.
Yep, voting will not be saving you anytime soon. And when it comes to personal responsibility, it goes hand in hand with personal liberty. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Radowski here of wearechange.org, and there's a lot of absolutely bewildering and crazy news to get into today, as of course the people are not all right, as there is a number of psyops running in the corporate media right now that we will be exposing in this particular video, while talking about the larger cancel culture and governments intervening directly in order to ruin your life and anyone who dares to stand up for you. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played at the beginning of this broadcast was done by the extremely talented Samuel Rivera. He actually sent me this clip as soon as it was out, and it is another masterpiece. If you want to watch it in its entirety, definitely check him out on YouTube, Samuel Rivera, and also Instagram, since he just personally told me that YouTube definitely isn't doing him any favors in the algorithm. So also make sure to check him out on his Instagram page, as he does really incredible work that deserves a lot more viewership than it's currently getting right now. As of course, I can't believe these videos only get a couple hundred views. It doesn't make any sense at all. It only makes sense if you understand that there's a deliberate agenda out there meant to stifle any kind of critical thinking, call for personal responsibility, and for the larger piece of humanity to stand up from its knees for human life, decency, and all the things that this country has previously stood for, that is being destroyed through fifth-generational warfare. And one of the reasons why we can't have nice things is because of the military-industrial complex that is now asking for more money to prolong more proxy conflict between the East and the West, happening right now currently in Ukraine, as Volodymyr Zelensky right now is meeting with the political leadership of the United States, as the Ukrainian leader is facing an uphill battle against House Republicans that have now also denied his plea to address Congress after Poland just yanked its weapon supplies from Ukraine. As it's fair to say that the United States government has always been given enough weapons to continue this war and never to help decisively win it, as of course it looks like the prolongment of this war is the actual objective, as so many innocent human beings are losing their lives, as corrupted politicians from both sides of the war are profiting off of their misery, as in Ukraine. The people there are getting images of Volodymyr Zelensky speaking to Volodymyr Zelensky, as the Ukrainian media has actually edited Zelensky's UN speech to make it look like he was speaking to a bigger audience that also included himself at the 14-second mark of this video. As you can see him in the left frame of this video, as he's speaking to himself. But that's not the only manipulated TV fakery happening out there, as of course Dave Portnoy just released an almost 12-minute video where he personally called up the Washington Post that was going around his sponsors and, in my opinion, trying to destroy his business model, all under the guise of journalism. As of course, a Washington Post reporter got called out directly for emailing sponsors of an upcoming event that Dave Portnoy is putting on, saying, How dare you sponsor and work with this horrible man? Dave actually talked to one of the sponsors that was contacted, went on the offensive, released this video where the Washington Post reporter was literally lying. As the two were supposed to set up an official interview today at 10 a.m. in the morning, and surprise, surprise, the Washington Post didn't show up for that interview again, highlighting how clearly there was nothing journalistic about the actions of the Washington Post here, as it's pretty obvious that they were after blood and trying to hurt Dave Portnoy by destroying his corporate sponsors because of alleged bad thing that he allegedly represented, which was all bullcrap anyway. In other absolute psyops and TV fakery news, Jimmy Kimmel, a man who, of course, made fun of, extorted, manipulated, and pushed people to take a rushed experimental injection so no one could get sick, just got sick after personally taking multiple injections himself, announcing that he is officially sick with the sickness that he personally injected himself with multiple times in order not to get, and made everyone else get too. As he is offering full refunds of his show in Las Vegas. And of course, I have a lot more to say about this very specific topic, as of course we have some very troubling data surrounding this particular news, but we can't talk about it here on this particular platform, so we just created our own platform on LukeUnfiltered.com, where we are going to be discussing these ideas and news stories that we can't discuss anywhere else on our own website. You could sign up very easily, very quickly here, just for 50 cents a day. Your support goes towards growing and expanding this independent media operation, and in exchange for that, we will be giving you 3 master classes, a forum to talk to like-minded individuals, a members-only store that saves you a bunch of money, a bunch of resources to make sure that you live your healthiest, best life, as well as contests, giveaways, and in real-life meetups, which will be happening either on October 7th or October 8th. I haven't figured out the exact date here in Miami, Florida, where we are going to be hanging out, congregating, drinking some kombucha, coconut water, you name it. Anything to decalcify that pineal gland. That meeting only is going to be available for members of LukeUnfiltered.com, so make sure you sign up for that. And check out wearechange.shop, where we have just officially launched our own line of supplements that I personally like, that I personally enjoy, that I think you will as well. Make sure to talk to your medical professional. Make sure to do your blood test. Make sure you get your checkups. And then after analyzing everything, say, hey, maybe this could be right for me. And after doing your own homework, after looking at all the resources available to you, by the way, also on wearechange.shop. Every product we have a video done from somebody that's absolutely not connected to us, talking about the pros and cons of this specific product that we have. The fish oil one is the most common one. And again, it's worth looking into, as of course, a lot of people use these supplements all the time. They don't know who they're getting it from. They don't know what's in them. Here, you get to use them and support independent media at the same time by supporting our store. So yeah, don't forget to check out wearechange.shop and support your local independent media content creator by also helping yourself out on your own independent health journey. Now, jumping into our main topic of discussion, and that is what is happening now with Russell Brand, which is extremely eye-opening, to say the least, as the British government has been personally reaching out to big tech social media platforms, demanding that they cut him off from financing or funding his operation. Now, this is something that is shocking to the majority of the American public, but for the people paying attention, this is not a surprise here, as of course a lot of the demonetizations, a lot of the censorship that has been happening on big tech social media has been directly orchestrated and organized by government, stifling out dissent and stopping people from being able to speak out against them. Governments are now using big tech social media censorship to stop protests and criticisms of them from individuals who want to hold them accountable. This is a huge, egregious violation of state powers, as of course it's pretty clear that what's happening to Russell Brand is a political motivated hit job that in some sense has worked very well. As during the beginning of this, we told you here on this particular broadcast, it's going to be very telling to see if these censorship efforts work, because if they do, that shows a very troubling sign for the rest of humanity. If they backfire, this shows us a very promising sign. And so far, major institutions like the BBC, like the Talent Agency, like YouTube, have already struck in and attacked Russell Brand, but there's some institutions that, of course, are standing behind him, like Rumble and Twitter, that so far have not attacked him for the allegations that he is currently facing. As we found out exactly what's happening with these government efforts through Rumble, that just officially published the disturbing letter from the UK Parliament Committee that demanded they cut Russell Brand from being able to receive money online. This as Rumble has officially released a letter saying that they're not going to be arbitrarily censoring and destroying someone's ability to make money because of an accusation. As of course, as this president is being set here, it allows anyone at any time, at any moment, to be censored if someone makes an accusation against them. And of course, if someone is anti-establishment, those accusations are more credible than if someone is toting the establishment line. Again, not a coincidence that all of this is happening here, as these bureaucratic Becky nanny-state gangsters are literally writing extortion letters pushing for the destruction of someone's life because of accusations. This as Rumble has posted their response to the UK Parliament with a letter from Chris Pavlovsky that stands up to these technocratic censors. As online political commentator Glenn Greenwald posted the letter saying, quote, "I've never been prouder to associate myself and our show with Rumble, which has repeatedly proven its defense of a free internet." Recall, Rumble is unavailable in France because it refused orders to ban Russian media, and now it won't bow to UK's despotic censorship threats. And it's important to note here, while YouTube caved to the pressures from the UK government, Rumble didn't, and it's one of the reasons why we have a channel there and are currently in negotiations with them to fully work only with Rumble. Yes, you heard that correctly. We are now fully negotiating with them. We are still uploading some content on there. We just did 3 pretty huge podcast shows on their platform that have done extremely well. Those shows, plus a lot more. We also release, by the way, a video from lukeunfiltered.com, usually a random one, once a week also on our Rumble channel, rumble.com/wearechange. I would definitely go subscribe to them because we probably will be working out a deal and exclusively uploading there very soon. As of course, it's also important to note here, the British government not only reached out to probably YouTube here, but they're also reaching out to TikTok and other big tech social media platforms, specifically demanding that they cut off monetization from the platform for Russell Brand. As of course, the government is trying to acquire, quote, total control over dissenting voices on the internet, according to Viva Frey, and I would absolutely agree with him on that sentiment, as what Rumble is doing here could essentially be the larger turning point against a government censorship effort that is absolutely destroying free speech and only propagating government officially approved lines that are not in your best interest. And when we look at the case of Russell Brand, the case is unraveling, to say the least, especially with what Jake Shields has to say about this matter, specifically detailing some of the cases here that are, in my opinion, not as strong as the corporate media makes them out to be. As, of course, there's a lot of really horrible individuals out there that abused their positions of power, that did really bad things that the corporate media doesn't really care about, especially when it comes to, individuals like Bill Clinton, especially when it comes to individuals like Bill Gates. We can keep going, by the way, especially when it comes to a client list that the corporate media doesn't seem to care about, and for over 30 plus years was running a cover-up operation when thousands of children were being trafficked and hurt in unspeakable ways by very powerful people that they just didn't give a damn about. And now you're telling me that this orchestrated campaign for women is somehow legitimate? And of course, it is not. It is 100% political, and that's how I think the majority of the American and international people are seeing it, as they're absolutely sick of all these larger censorship efforts. As of course, Dylan Danish was also just censored on Instagram, as Twitter and now currently X is also facing a lot of very serious top-down pressure on its institutions and other businesses, to the point where now Elon Musk is now officially suing the U.S. government, who is going after him for, quote, refusing to hire refugees. Yes, you heard that correctly. Again, lots of insanity is happening here, as now officially SpaceX is suing the U.S. government that has financed a lot of its projects, because the U.S. government is not happy that SpaceX wasn't hiring refugees, which is, again, against the law anyway. So now SpaceX is suing them. As Elon Musk is fighting back, Rumble is fighting back, a lot of online commentators are fighting back. Tucker Carlson, Glenn Greenwald, and people like Joe Rogan have had enough of this nonsense, and so have the people here, as Elon Musk just tweeted, wow, under a tweet of the scenes happening right now in Ottawa, Canada, where thousands of people are coming out into the streets protesting the larger indoctrination of children and, quote, gender ideology in schools, as Muslims and Christians are marching together in the streets of Canada, chanting, "Leave the kids alone, no more silence," as scenes like this are becoming more and more common with protesters and even counter-protesters, as it's important to note here that the Canadian government does have a particular side that they stand with, and if you dare to protest against whatever the Canadian government wants to shove down your throat, that they will prosecute and arrest you, as, of course, even the New York Times is reporting how Canada is trying the leaders of the trucker convoy protest because of their speech, because of their peaceful protests that the government was so triggered by that they literally went full Chinese communist technocratic Orwellian 1984 state on and said, no, you can't express ideas that we don't like. That's dangerous to our democracy, said the tyrant. Again, lots of insanity happening around the world that needs to be exposed, and the more that truth is being spoken against the lies, the better chance we have surviving the nonsense coming our way. If you agree with that, share this video with your friends and family members. It is more imperative than ever that you do, and because you do, that's why I'm still here, because you still support us on wearechange.shop, because you buy the t-shirts, because you are here with us one-on-one, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and that's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. One more video coming your way right now on lukeunfiltered.com. See you there.